On a crisp November 13, 1899 evening, the business and professional citizens of Viroqua turned out to celebrate the opening of the Hotel Fortney. A 12-course dinner for 150 was held in the hotel dining room. The menu included planked whitefish, soufflé, broiled fresh lobster tails, stuffed roast teal duck, browned sweet potatoes, filet of beef, braised fresh mushrooms, French peas, ice cream, assorted cakes, fruits, nuts, Roquefort cheese, and topped off with coffee and cigars. Food unavailable locally was ordered by Adolf Sørensen, a local grocer, and it was shipped in special. There were speeches, toasts, and music provided by an orchestra during the banquet. The evening was rounded out by a ball in the Opera House, only 1/2 block north of the hotel. During the celebration, guests were given a tour of the new and grand establishment, rivaling big city hotels. It was the largest, most delightful affair in the city's history, according to the Vernon County Censor. The location of the Hotel Fortney is traditionally a place of hotels. It began in 1850 when the land was purchased on the corner of North Main and Court Streets from Moses Decker. The North Star Hotel was built by Henry Nichols. It was also known as the Haskell House in later years, and then the Tremont House until 1874. The building was torn down in 1874, and a new and larger hotel was built by Daniel Fortney. In 1898, Daniel transferred management and control of the Tremont to Torger, his son. Daniel Fortney was born in Forthen, Norway in 1846. His family came to Vernon County in 1854. He first became a farmer in the town of Franklin, and later moved to the city of Viroqua, where he began his career in the hotel business. He and his wife Anna worked side by side in the operation of the hotel. After taking control in 1898, Torger Fortney and his wife, Hannah, made the decision to build a bigger and better hotel on the site. Part of the old Tremont was moved to the west side of 102-106 South Main Street. Another part was moved to Daniel's farm, and the two remaining larger sections were moved to 202 North Main Street, now the site of City Hall. Work began on the new hotel in June of 1898. The firm of Schick and Stolze designed the Queen Anne architectural style 3-story building. It was 54 feet by 114 feet, made of pressed red brick and stone trimmings and a stone foundation. The hotel features a circular 3-story corner oriel bay window on the southeast corner and 2 2-story polygonal oriels on the east and south facades. The builder was A.H. Mitchell of La Crosse at a cost of $20,000. That is the equivalent today of approximately $606,000. Guests entered a light, airy vestibule that featured a separate reading room with fireplace, writing tables, and sliding glass doors. There were arched windows with stained glass transoms on both the south and east. The public rooms also included an office, 1 sleeping room, baggage room, washroom, and a sanitary closet off of the lobby. The tin ceilings were 12 feet high. The floors were oak and maple or tiled. There was a separate entrance into the hotel on Court Street for ladies. In the early 1900s, a lady did not appear in the main room, thus a waiting room with adjoining toilet room was provided. Going west, or toward the back of the hotel, was the public dining room featuring 6 double windows on the north and south sides. This room seated 75. Hannah Fortney was in charge of the dining room, and when necessary, she cooked. The tables were covered in fresh white linen and napkins for each meal. The Hotel Fortney was known for its excellent foods, such as the scalloped oysters, blue point oysters, broiled brook trout, and spring chicken with all the trimmings. It was the place to dine. Behind the dining room was the kitchen, 18 feet by 20 feet, with adjoining cold storage, pantry, and china department. Olga Olson was the coffee maker at the Fortney. She did not claim her coffee was a special blend or a secret recipe. Her clear, strong coffee was due to a beaten egg and a pinch of salt. In 1924, Elizabeth Stoddard was head cook at Hotel Fortney for $80 a month. She served 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, with very few days off. Many days after lunch was served and the evening meal preparation underway, Elizabeth would go home for a few hours and spend time with her family. There were 18 guest chambers on the second floor, and almost all had 2 large windows. There was also a guest parlor on the southeast corner in the bay. The rooms contained 3 pieces of furniture with Brussels carpeting. The Torger Fortney family had a suite of rooms on the second floor, which they called home. The third floor had 21 sleeping chambers with ingrain carpets and furniture of about the same quality as the second floor. Hardwood woodwork was featured throughout the main floor, including the 6-foot-wide stairs on the north wall of the main room. Each floor had a bath and toilet room with hot and cold running water. The hotel was lighted by electricity and had an up-to-date system of electric call bells. There was a radiator in nearly every room and in the halls, and the latest in fire protection and fire escapes were installed. Torger requested permission from the city to install cement sidewalks on the east and south side of his property when the hotel was completed. An amenity of the hotel was the livery stable, 20 feet by 65 feet, to the west on Court Street. Built in 1896, it had a cut stone foundation with 2-foot rock faces of limestone. Guests of the hotel could leave their vehicles or horses, go up a ramp to the second floor of the livery stable, and walk directly into the hotel on a walkway over the alley. It was known as the Old Stone Barn, and at one time the Viroqua National Guard Cavalry Unit, Troop D, housed their mounts at the stable. When Hotel Fortney was built, ownership of the livery stable was transferred to Nels Fortney, brother of Torger. The livery stable business was separate from the hotel. Nels sold the livery to Nels Salverson in 1909. The Driftless Cafe is in the Old Stone Barn today, as is the office of Celeste Gibson, attorney and CPA. The basement of the hotel had 9-foot ceilings with a concrete floor. It was subdivided. The southeast corner became Charles Thompson's Barber Shop. The 20 by 32-foot space contained 3 barber chairs. North of the barber shop was a 30 by 40-foot sample room, used by commercial salesmen to display their wares. The remaining space was used for laundry and ironing, bathroom for employees, a supply room, fuel room, and a vegetable cellar. Through the years, as the pattern of guests changed, the basement became a place where small business was conducted. There were attorney, real estate and insurance offices, several taverns or saloons, a liquor store, tire shop, a pool room, a billiard room, and numerous beauty shops occupying the space over the years. Dairyland Printing started in that space. In the 2000s, the basement was turned into a 50-seat theater, the Fortney Underground. The Playhouse featured local acting talent 3 or 4 times a year. In 1911-12, a 35-foot addition was built in the west end of the hotel on Court Street. A large cesspool was dug in back of the hotel in 1914, and a long-distance phone booth was available to the public in the lobby in July. The Hotel Fortney bus took guests to the train depot and also picked them up for transport to the hotel. Torger sold this business to John R. Spellum in 1905. The rail bus was discontinued in 1927. Harry Fortney then started running the Winneshuck bus line, using the lobby of the Hotel Fortney as a station and waiting room. He made 3 trips to La Crosse Monday through Friday and 4 trips on Sunday. He also provided bus service to Madison on a regular basis. It was later known as the Winneshuck Stage. After Harry's death at age 50 in 1949, his wife Ella leased the bus line to Lloyd Mickelson. He ran it until the lease expired in 1955. Mrs. Fortney sold the franchise to Greyhound Bus Line for $15,000. The Greyhound service was discontinued in 1988. The Red Wing stage also operated for a short time in 1946 out of the hotel lobby. Torger and Hannah sold the Hotel Fortney to Thomas Buchanan in 1921 for $65,000. He continued to make changes and improvements to the hotel. In 1925, the building was painted gray. A second cook was hired for $50 a month, room and board. Adolph Fortney, son of Torger and Hannah, bought the hotel in 1928. He was raised on the property and knew it well. In 1933, the hotel received a liquor license, and in 1936, a Class B license to serve malt liquor in the dining room. The dining room was closed in 1948. More than 10 different owners of coffee shops and cafes used the dining room for their businesses. It was closed permanently in the 1960s. Around that time, the public rooms of the Hotel Fortney were turned into business places. Hawkins, Ash, Beatty & Company of La Crosse, Harris's Propane Gas Company, Sutherland Skell Gas, Westby Co-op Credit Union, Driftless Trader, and Rhubarb were a few of the small businesses using the main floor of the hotel. There was a commercial kitchen in the rear of the building. The ladies' waiting room was turned into a barber shop in the late 1930s. It was owned by the Pott brothers, Banty and Mink. The hotel was the center of town, and the distinct front steps invited speakers and politicians to use them as a platform for any and all causes. The hotel hosted Johnny Wood's The Human Fly in 1933. Quite a crowd gathered to watch this feat. He climbed from the front steps of the hotel to the roof, assisted by rope loops he had hung out of 2 windows. The climb came as an anticlimax to a 15-minute ballyhoo delivered by Wood from the steps of the hotel, reported the Vernon County Censor. After the speech and before the climb, Woods took up a collection from the crowd. If anybody was missed, it certainly wasn't the fly's fault, the censor observed. Hotel Fortney was painted an ivory color in 1966. It took 55 gallons of paint. The citizens were pleased with the new paint and pointed out it was the longest-standing building in downtown Viroqua. In 1973, Clifford Lindvig of California and Walter Steger bought the Hotel Fortney. There were permanent residents now residing on the property, and it was managed by Jerry L. Peterson. The building was painted a cream color in 1979. Tom Trostad had the Barber Shop. In March of 1973, there was a proposal brought to the City Council by Edwin Hoyam and affiliated contractor Tito Nappi. They wanted to create a shopping center on the Hotel Fortney block. It would include a regional shopping center type Ben Franklin store, other commercial centers, and office spaces. The only building that would remain standing on the block was the A&P store on the northwest corner, the corner of Rock and Decker Streets. The proposal also included moving City Hall to the Hotel Fortney site. The proposal was not followed through. In June 1996, the county court took control of the hotel for non-payment of taxes for 1988 to 1992. The hotel ownership went to the county and it was put up for bids to pay the back taxes. Donald and Susan Tully bid $100 for the property. They told the county commission that they would put $1 million in repairs and renovations into the building for a hotel, restaurant, or perhaps senior housing. The bid was not accepted because under state law, the bid could not be less than the appraised value of $35,000. There were no other bids. The hotel was reappraised for $17,500, and there was a second bidding process. Anthony Kitchever of Port Washington bid $26,500, and the Fortney Hotel, Inc. consisted of Fred Nelson, Ole Guldrinson, and Jim Holfelder, bid $25,050. Kitchever became the new owner. Many citizens of Viroqua wanted the ownership to remain local, and there was much discussion and disapproval. At the time, there were 24 tenants living in the hotel. The couple made repairs and kept the hotel running as a resident hotel. In 2005, B. Small, Kathy Irwin, and Craig Anderson bought the Hotel Fortney. Just a few days after the sale, there was a fire in a storage room. It displaced about 20 residents. Repairs and inspections were made, and the building continued to provide resident economy rooms. On April 11, 2003, the Hotel Fortney was placed on the State Register of Historical Places. On July 17, 2003, it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Viroqua City Council named the Hotel Fortney a Viroqua landmark on April 30, 2013. In 2020, Ridgeland Restorations Limited, owners Larry, Sue, Brian, and Amy Wrobel, bought the Hotel Fortney. 5 earlier hotels in the community have passed into history, but the Fortney is a link to the past and with a revival, maybe to the future. J.W. Kolsch, La Crosse Tribune, March 23, 1975.
We're the Wrobels.
And this is our Fortney story.
In 2017, I saw that the building was for sale and scheduled a viewing, and Amy and I came and looked at the building for the first time. When we saw it, we could tell right away that there was a lot of work to be done and liked the building, but we were hesitant about it.
You know, we really just were truly captivated by this place and by kind of this diamond in the rough, you know. We knew what we were up against. We knew how much work this was gonna be. That was definitely not a surprise to us after having walked through the building. But it just seemed so worth it to take on this challenge and see what we could make of the Fortney Hotel again.
Over the next 2 years, we went back and forth about what we could do with the building as far as ideas, brainstorming what you could do with spaces to make the building worth it. In 2019, we became pretty serious about it, and that was the first time that I had my dad come out and look at the building, and we talked to my parents about buying the building.
And I remember going into that discussion with them thinking, they're gonna think we're nuts. This is a huge building, it's a ton of work, and they're both either just retired or going to be retiring. Why would they want any part of this? But if you know these two, you know that they're always up for an adventure, and this was one that they were willing to take on with us.
I did retire in April of 2020, and my wife didn't know it at the time, but in 2019 I thought, okay, if I retire in the spring, I'll buy something and that'll be my project. So, but I didn't realize it was going to be the Fortney.
And it was just too good to pass up. It has so much character. The flavor of the building is just phenomenal. We could just see all sorts of possibilities. So I think we were up for it. It's a great adventure. I kind of had a feeling when you said you were going to retire that you would buy something to remodel, because I don't know if you remember, but on February 9th, 1979, these were your exact words to me. I just bought a duplex. It needs help. Do you want to marry me? That was the start of all of this kind of stuff.
So in December of 2019, we got to the point where we were starting to get serious about it.
And we knew that there were other people that had been coming in to look at the building and were potentially going to be putting offers in. So I can remember the day that Brian kind of mentioned to me he had gotten a call from the realtor saying, if you guys want this thing, you might want to move on it pretty quickly here. And we planned to meet after work that day just to see, if this was something we were actually going to do.
So we all sat around the table, and in about 10 minutes, the vote came up, and it was a yes.
Unanimous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Sue, you hadn't actually been there, had you?
No.
You hadn't. You sight unseen bought a hotel.
Yeah, so as Amy said, nobody ever took me there to see it. So the only time that I had ever been inside was when years before, when I had shopped there, when it was Driftless Traders had some space in the building. And I remember thinking it was a pretty cool building. So I gave the go-ahead, basically sight unseen.
So after a night of texting, at about 4 a.m, I got the text that they accepted our offer and we were going to be the new owners of the Fortney building.
And then the adventure began.
I think my favorite part of the whole building is the exterior. I love the brick and the detail in it and the limestone. And the other neat part of the building is the limestone steps going up to the main entrance on the corner of Main and Court. That is your picturesque, historic corner entrance that doesn't get duplicated. It can't be duplicated. And the location is perfect, sitting right on Main Street in Viroqua.
You walk into the building, and the first thing you do see is a staircase, a grand staircase. Don't know if I've ever seen one like that.
I always think about the amount of sunlight. It's such a pleasant feel, and it's there every time that I'm at the building, whenever it's a sunny day.
I think the whole lobby to me was just so impressive. That was one of the spaces that we really didn't have to do too much demo to because everything in there was really in fairly good shape. There's the tin ceilings in there, the terrazzo floors, the stained glass windows. We even had the old lobby desk in there that was in need of a little bit of love, but it was still there, which we felt really fortunate about.
There were doors, and more doors. And there are some wonderful doors in the building, and we saved some of them and are working on restoring them. There was some really unique hardware, door handles and hinges.
Going into the basement there, there was treasures there, some things there. One thing we did come across was the old Hotel Fortney sign. It's a big sign, neon. It was a neon lit sign, but it needs to be totally refurbished.
So the building certainly had great bones. There was no doubt about that. But now we were to the point where we had to get to the bottom of over a century's worth of misfit belongings before we could go any further in our remodeling process.
This is a big building and it was full. So everything that was inside had to be removed before we could actually take down lath and plaster and get to the stud walls. That's 121 years worth of things left behind. So that took a while, but it was also, every step of the way you saw a little bit of progress.
So with the building all cleaned out, it was really fun to just look around at this super cool old hotel. When you think that this building was state-of-the-art, it was a place that rivaled the big city hotels of that day. It was really neat to just look at all the architecture and the way that they had put this together. Most of the rooms were very small with just one sink in the corner and would have had enough room for maybe a bed and a desk, and that was about it. And unfortunately, it was pretty evident that the fixtures were all past their time. The woodwork and the flooring and the windows, they had all just seen better days, and we're really past the point that we could salvage any of them. So we took lots of video and lots of pictures and got ready to start the demo process.
Brian and Larry put up 2 chutes coming out of the second story window and a third story window, going down into the dumpster. And then they would park the dump trailer out in the alley so we could send this debris down one of the chutes or stand out on the fire escape and just let it go and let gravity hopefully take it down into the dump trailer. There were a couple times that somebody missed.
We decided we needed a new dump trailer. I myself hauled approximately 40 ton of debris to the landfill. And that's not counting the dumpsters we had besides that. So we had probably 10 or 12 dumpsters, 40-yard dumpsters besides what I hauled. So I don't know how many ton was in that, but it's just astronomical of The building must have a sigh of relief with the weight gone.
Oh my God.
And after months of hard work, lots of plaster dust, lots of showers when we got home, we are left with this blank canvas to work with, and it is going to be fun. We're ready for that adventure.
Once everything got demoed out and we started prioritizing what needed to be done, the back corner of the building was one of the very first things that we had to address. And with we got some excellent masons there who were able to take it down without having anything beyond what was already broke or damaged having any more damage. So that was a great step. Little by little they built it back up, and the back corner is going to be the future site of the elevator that will serve the building going from the main floor up to 3rd floor and possibly beyond.
What?
Cut it out. Cut it out.
I can't. It's there. It's done. With the interior of the building all demoed out and ready for the next phase, we turned our attention to the exterior of the building. There was a whole lot of painting that needed to get done, and we had a few people that stopped by just to chat with us on the sidewalk while we were outside working on this, and they had mentioned that the last time the building had been painted in its entirety was in 1978, which we'll have to maybe fact check a little bit and just make sure that's accurate, but needless to say, this paint job really needed to happen badly. So we have a good start on that. And the next thing that we needed to take care of were all of the windows in this building. There are 157 of them that need to be replaced. So we're working our way from 3rd floor all the way down to the big storefront windows of 1st floor. The other thing we needed to address were the Oriole Bay windows. There's been scaffolding surrounding these for the past months as they had started cracking and bricks were starting to separate from the building. So in the case of 2 of them, they actually had to be completely taken down and rebuilt from the bottom up. We're really excited to have these finished though, because you know, they are as good as new and can stand for another century.
In doing this, we do need to meet some of the most basic building codes. We have to have ADA access. All the electrical needs to be updated. We're completely updating all the sewer and water in the building. So just a lot of different things that take time, and getting it put back together the way that it still keeps the historic look to it and feel to it, and also meets all of the modern code in a building so that it does serve its purpose.
Over the past month, things have really gotten rolling out of the Fortney. You know, we're starting to be able to check things off our list, and that's really exciting because that means that we're getting a lot closer to being able to reopen this building to all of you to enjoy. But there is one question remaining. One question that we keep hearing, and rightly so. What is this building going to become? So that's what we're going to be talking about in the next segment called The Future.
Were your children extremely helpful in this process?
Oh my. They were very helpful.
They were.
Super helpful.
And
You
to
should
be
have
honest,
asked that.
And they always had a good attitude.
The honest thing is we have been here every weekend, and they really have been phenomenal. It's cool that it's not only just doing this with my parents, but also with these two, and then our other older son who's not here right now. But it's something that's pretty cool, because doing this with them, they're going to remember this forever. And who knows, hopefully down the road, one of them will own it. So taking the keys for the first time as an owner, I was really excited. I guess 3 years of dreaming about it, and you put this vision together for what the building can be and what the building is going to be. You know that there is hard work ahead, but at the same time, you know that in the end it's going to be appreciated, it's going to be used, and it's going to stand for another 100 years. And that's a pretty cool feeling to know that you're going to be part of that.
It's very humbling to think about what a small part we play in the Fortney's history. You know, the things these walls have seen and all the stories there are to tell. So with that in mind, we felt it was only fitting for this good old girl to carry the name, the historic Fortney, into her next chapter.
The one question that keeps coming up, and rightly so, is what are you going to do with the building? Shortly after we bought the building, we came up with a business plan and a direction of restoration. It included an event space, a boardroom, hotel rooms, commercial spaces, and a hotel lobby. Then COVID-19 started making a presence and disrupted our timetable. It forced us to take a step back. We reevaluated our plans and our long-term goals. We committed to getting the exterior of the building sound and finishing the commercial spaces on first floor. Our intention is to finish the second and third floors into hotel rooms that fit a format somewhere between a conventional hotel model and an Airbnb. How and when that happens, we really don't know. We know that the desire and need for a downtown hotel room is wanted. We want it too. Rest assured, our team will work tirelessly until we accomplish our goals. While we will be renting out most of the spaces on first floor to small business owners, we intend to keep the lobby true to its historic origin. The terrazzo floors polished to shine, blasting and refinishing the tin ceilings, and refurbishing the stained glass windows, while also restoring the original lobby desk. Add all of these together and you have a beautiful venue for small weddings, gatherings, meetings, or events overlooking Viroqua's Main Street. With so many possibilities for this space, we're excited for its future. We talk with so many people that have lived in Viroqua their whole life and never stepped foot into the building. Our desire is for everyone to experience and enjoy this true legend.
You know, we want this place to be an asset in the continued growth of Viroqua's Main Street. There's already so much going on here and so much draw to the area, and we hope that this building can just be a small part of that.
Viroqua's a destination. We have the Driftless area. We have great restaurants in Viroqua. Great farmers market. A lot of good things are happening in Viroqua, and we feel this project will be a good environment for small business.
It's fun to be a part of Viroqua. We have shopped Viroqua for many years. I have I own quite a few ukuleles from parish music, and all their furniture is from Buzzies. We love going to the historic Temple Theater for concerts. When we were farming, there was a weekly trip to Nelson's.
It's just a lot of good things going on in this community.
Sue and I have commented multiple times about how we can't wait to be able to go to Viroqua without our painting clothes on, so we can actually go shopping for once and not be there for work.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that day.
Yeah, we are.
We have bought a couple bikes at Blue Dog Cycles, and the first time we met Pete, he asked all the kids' names, and we went back there not long after. We walk in the door and Pete named off our kids' names just like that. And you don't see that everywhere.
And then there are these guys. We can't say enough about Luke and Ruthie Zom and the whole Driftless Cafe crew. They are our next door neighbors out at the Fortney, and they've been so good to us throughout the whole restoration process. And we know how instrumental they've been in bringing the farm-to-table culture to Viroqua.
So that's just this awesome community that we're going to be a part of. We love the idea of small business owners. That drives us, and really the hope that this building can help small business owners to accomplish their goals and try and do something with a dream that they have. We thank you for the support that we've got. We've had a lot of people comment on Facebook or Instagram about how they're excited about this, and we do appreciate that, because there are a ton of hours that are going into this to bring this back, and we're excited about that. We hope that once we get this up and going, that you support the small businesses that are in there. We're looking forward to a bright future for this building, and over the next couple phases, we really hope to bring this whole building back to life and that it serves the community the way that it should.